Obviously, we're all digital. We live in a digital world, but what we find in our world is about people. And people sometimes are too busy to realize that they are being distracted. So what we try to do is talk about changing people. Basically, today we're talking about the fact that we appreciate the opportunity here. Excuse me, thank you. We appreciate the opportunity here. But we're talking about who is an Action Coach. And Action Coach is a local company. My partner Grant and myself started this last summer. We basically are based we have one facility over there at Notre Dame area, and we're having a second facility at the Ethos Center in Elkhart. We want to serve both counties in a big way. Our areas in those county areas, we go up to Niles, we can go up to other parts of the area, but we're really excited about these areas. Real people, real results. That's our company motto. We are also a situation where we're a local part of a national global company, but we're completely our own enemy as well as animal. It's a situation where we can be as big as we want or as little as we want. The good news is that we basically are a completely independently owned company. And we're here in the community, we live here in the community. Grant lives over near the airport area. I live off of East Mishawaka area, and we're completely community bound. One factor is here, 70 years. 70 years of experience between us. We're old guys. No offense about that, but it is a fact. We have a lot of life experience. The key, though, is our business coaching as well as business success background. He was in the accounting industry for 35 years, Pricewaterhouse, partner level, went around the world, knows a local big companies, but at the same time, always worked with middle and smaller companies also, and volunteer work. We're both alumni of SCORE organization. You might be familiar with that. I was over in the Chicago area for about 7 years there, and moved over here and joined the local one. And Grant was here for 2 years working with them. Because of, again, our appreciation for SCORE, we have a situation where we just resigned from that because we have a strong ethical agreement that when we started going out and commercializing our product more, we all agree that Congress does not allow that to happen. So we respect that opportunity. So we resigned those commissions. Still, Dorset, in very many ways, the website highlights all the great local companies that do volunteer as well as nonprofit, as well as I call it giving back for no cost, whether it be the SCORE is one example of that, a whole bunch of other groups on our website, the Towfed, Indiana, the Ellen group over there, Indiana. Yeah, exactly. Over at Indiana State University, provides it through the Indiana Small Business Development. So this is a participatory session. We got 10 minutes of time. Everybody stand up, please. Please stand up. Okay. Raise your hand, your left hand, if you've ever been coached in your life. Any kind of coaching. Any kind at all. Okay, great. Raise your right hand if you thought it was a great experience. Some of you are hesitant, I see that. Okay. Now, go toward the ceiling if you think you could have gotten more out of it if you were pushed harder. Okay, great. Go a little further if you think that you would probably do it differently today, knowing what you know now, than you would have done it then. A little harder. Got it? Okay, great. You've now been action coached. So thank you for that opportunity. Please have your seats. We define success differently than a lot of people do. Our idea of a successful business is a commercially profitable enterprise that works without you. People say, what? I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a startup, I'm doing this because I want to get away from the system. I don't want this to happen at all. And we're saying that's exactly the problem. You oftentimes run away from something that you really think you don't want to be part of, only to find out you abandon all those great ideas. The business principles that those big corporations or even middle-sized do are the fundamentals of enterprise around the world. Our parent corporation, indirectly we call it parent corporation, is in 81 countries, China included, Vietnam, Russia, everywhere else, doing the same business that my partner and I do here. We are in conference calls globally all the time with counterparts because business is a universal language. Small business is our focus. We're not aimed at middle and average. The average clientele is ours is probably 250,000 to 20 million is our clientele base. Solopreneurs is a very big part of our business, all the way to like 3 employees up to about 20 is our kind of sweet spot. Again, that's our whole company's that way. It's not that. We have 15,000 clients a week, or company works with. So we gained that experience. When COVID hit, within 2 weeks, we had a battle plan for all our U.S. clients. We completely understood how the financing would go. We understood that. We were synchronized. None of our clients failed a bit. All thrived last year and the last 2 years because, again, we're just part of a kind of a little different family is what we bring. We're not heavy on financial costs. We're very much a family situation. We work with profits and nonprofits. Our product is very much nonprofit focused. We have a foundation that we actually Coaching for a Cause. A couple of the one Wheelhouse group, I'm talking to those people. We did Grains for Life in the fall. We did food Cultivate. We're partners with them. So we do things for free. We do things with scholarships. So don't get the impression this is a commercial viable business as far as that. But we realize that we're very much we're very profitable in the sense that we provide value back to people who pay us for it. We also look at the fact that it has to work. The business needs to be a system. You have to create a leverage system that is not just you walking in and getting a job for yourself, but it's a situation where you create so that someone else, a team, can be put together. They'll run it when you're away. When you're suddenly taking that 2 weeks to Cancun that you always want to do after 6 months, patting yourself on the back and you got this thing going. So the idea is that you create that system as quickly as you can with the idea that in 2 years, Andy's going to have 5 people helping her so she can take that vacation. She's not sitting there making every delivery herself. She has a great product. I actually also bought a couple of them for the holidays and just really have great reviews and thank yous from my people I gave it to. So the idea is that without you is really crucial here because oftentimes we start a business, and I love the motto of the Talking Foundation do here with $1 million cups because I've been involved in my own entrepreneurial experience. I've had 5 startups. I started from a baby idea all the way up, funding and all that stuff. And some of them are soared and was able to sell them real well. Some of them crashed and burned because the factors are out of my control. As well as my investors did real well in some cases, and some of them were all bit the bullet and lost together. As well as I was brought in many times, 3 or 4 times, to actually be president of an organization to either wind them up and sell them off to somebody or to close them up because they were just hemorrhaging cash. The key here is that we understand, and my partner understands that a business is not light at heart. All you hear on Wednesday morning are here because you're seriously concerned about it. But it also allows us to do things called dreams. We're able to look at our dreams and say, hey, here's where I'm at today. Where do I want to be in 5 years? And I mentioned that question to Andy and said, hey, where do you want to be in a couple of years? Because we all oftentimes very myopic when we start our businesses of, hey, I have to make my cash flow, I have to do this, I have to do this. A job of a coach, in this case, is different than a consultant, and different than a mentor. A coach, in our case, and there's a lot of good coaches here, we really encourage people to find a coach of some sort, and whether it be a sports coach, a psychological coach, everybody should have a coach, and I really appreciate you all saying, yes, you can coach, because it doesn't matter, because we all realize we only have certain capabilities that we're given, as well as they keep changing. I mean, gosh, I love the fact that, and I use the example, hey, I don't want to do a brick and mortar. She pivoted. She's smart enough to say, I'm changing my mind, that's cool. We're looking at life success as being our formula for how people move forward, and we really stress the B times do equal have mindset. And it's a little bit, I love to call it, the company's founders are out of Australia, and it's a really much a West Coast kind of mindset. I spent 3 years in the West Coast. The idea of be, what's that all about versus do. I was a real hardcore doer bee, and if I had this kind of coaching when I had my 4 or 5 companies that I was actually starting up, I would have been so much further ahead giving back to society as well as giving back to my shareholders as well as myself psychologically, because I stressed all my things, got to be busy. What's my next thing? And I did give enough balance to the fact that B is my being. What is my soul? And I know this group talks about that all many times, that you look at yourself and say, what do I get turned on by? What starts my day every morning? What do I get excited about? And we really stress in our coaching effort is that number, if you play it as a formula, instead of you doing, hey, I'm a 9, I'm like, dude, man, I'm really going, might be, I'll get to that later as a 5. So 9 times 5 is 45 is a half. How much I get as a byproduct of my life? It might be financial, it might be psychological, it might be just a matter of team building, whatever it is, that's a factor there. What we say is that, hey, if you start reproportioning, you say, maybe you don't do as much. Maybe back off and say, hey, I'm going to get 7 out of things done this week, and I'm comfortable with that. The key, though, there's fun things that really energize. I'm no longer burning out on my life. I'm burning out my life. I'm enjoying my be. I understand who I am, where I'm fitting into this world, and what I give back. We suddenly bring it up to 8 or 9, especially at 8 times that's 5 or 6, or even 5 is 40, and maybe it's sometimes 9. It's a higher number usually than that, and you find that you can do that for years and years and years versus days and days and days. Because oftentimes, startups really have, as you all know statistics, the burnout factor is not failure because society doesn't want you. It's oftentimes the entrepreneur after 2 years or 3 years says, gosh, I can't continue doing this. It's all about me because I've not built a team. It's all about the fact that I don't have 5 people who I can trust. And even if they're all small part-timers, they can be part of a bigger system that I can delegate things to grow. And so oftentimes us as entrepreneurs just give up on that factor. So I really stress that is that, be in the know. Be in the now in the sense of look at where you are today and look at that continuously in your life because you can only control today. Tomorrow's going to be a different day. The next day you don't know. You're not predicting it. Even yesterday, you sit there and beat yourself up too long, too hard on yesterday, and you're going to quickly find yourself not going where you want to psychologically. We call that head trash because, boy, I'm not sure about you guys, but I had my DSC, which is just a method of describing my personality, is high on drive, more importantly, high on influencing other people and talking to the people. And oftentimes, if I would not, if I had a brick wall with somebody, I take it out on myself. Say, hey, what did I do wrong? And if you don't, it's good to have a survey. I love surveys because they give you a mystic snapshot, but don't take it to heart. Move on the next time. Say, how will I do it tomorrow differently? So the idea is that we look at the fact that time is our biggest challenge, and the fact that we have the present attention is oftentimes not given enough attention. We're looking at the fact that the future is our intention, or the fact of where we want to be in the future. We're often visionaries, that's what entrepreneurs are. But sometimes we often say, oh, if I only could be, and I get upset. Hold it, we control every day the way we want to today. The past, though, is our starting point, it's our anchor. So the roots, your background, hearing again from Annie's story about, hey, how she learned it in the Washington State area and all that. Again, it's just that was her anger, but she moved on and changed accordingly. So the idea of paying attention to the now is very, very important. So I'm just kind of questioning you about why do you think ActionCOACH makes sense, Mike? Why did you guys jump in this arena? Why did you team up with a guy who's far more smarter than you are, as well as more charismatic, as well as he handles himself much better in public? I basically looked at being the yearning to learn that I've always had. That we have 3 foundations that we provide any client, whether it be paid or not paid, is an educational opportunity to learn more about what the world of business is about, as well as themselves, to motivate. We are there to motivate people. We're not there to sit there and let you sit around and do nothing. Every day say recharge. And the more important is nobody has accountability except for yourself. And you wake up and you might have a great spouse, but they're not going to tell you the fact that, hey, this is going a direction I didn't expect as our relationship. This is not where we want to be together. We're not going to say that until probably it's usually too late. And myself, I was lucky enough to have a spouse who was pretty vocal about, hey, it's going rough and I want to right. And either you change or I change or whatever, we agree to keep talking like that. And that's great, but that was very unusual. But also a situation where she also went quiet for a couple of years. I mean, I didn't know where her head was at while I was going down the road of another gig. And we quickly realized that, we had a fortunate situation where we talked about it and realized it's not personal, it's just business capital. And I realized that that can happen with us entrepreneurs. So we hold people accountable and talk about, hey, you said 3 weeks ago at our last meeting that you were going to do this and this. What did you do? What didn't you do? Why didn't you do it? Give us a reason. No judgment. We're not judgment people. We're not consultants where you pay us to do a project and we go away. We're not a mentor. Here's an idea. We're saying, hold it, you said this. We ask tons of questions. We're all question people. We're not answer people. We're question people. We keep asking you the questions. So we mention that because our focus, and then we ask you to focus on 3 areas in particular that you really control as an entrepreneur. You can control the marketing, you can control your sales, and you can control your team. And I realize you say, oh, but I make the best, something. I make the best spread that anybody ever wants to put on bread. Great. That's just a thing that you find out that there's customers who want it, who are willing to pay a premium price for it because it's a premium product. As well as you figure out how those customers can be converted into consistent leads. The leads keep on coming, not just one and done. Because obviously the chasm, hey, great flurry of new business, suddenly it crashes the next month because we don't have anybody who, they tried it once and said, that's nice, but it's not worth it. And that key is how do you keep growing with that, looking at your lead population, keep growing that with that, marketing, your sales, but more importantly is that team. I keep stressing that because you have to find common people, and again, we heard today a request for people, and my own group has the same request. Finding good people who want to be committed, who want to be involved, who will have a good attitude about yourself as well as themselves. I mean, you don't want to cause drama in situations, as well as the fact that they're willing to be the owner. They literally see and believe in what they're doing, and they want to participate that deeply, that they want to be part of your ownership mindset, meaning they don't care about the financial. They just want to know that they are part of a bigger piece and that you're not destroying your own thing as you drive down to craziness. Because we're working with some people right now that the challenge is that the employees are not seeing a logical cash flow. And it's kind of a inherited situation. And we're now damage controlling. In fact, the employees are really important to this company, and they want to make sure there's a logical cash flow occurring. So they just want to all know where they're at. So we're talking about close conversation with the employees. But it's a situation where, because those employees really care, and their goal, I mean, if you've got anybody who's a part-timer or whatever, vendor, keep them very close to your relationship because they're great. I mentioned here our guarantee. Again, we very much believe that we can walk our talk. Any product that we do, we have certain services that we provide, that are coaching services, and we guarantee that after so many weeks, actually 17 weeks, at a certain high level that we do, that we'll guarantee us 3 to 4 times our compensation for the year payback that we generate. And then if we don't, we stop billing, and we keep working until we get that 3 or 4 times payback. Because we're looking at companies, our typical company is making 3 times in 5 years their current revenue rather than 30% growth a year is a big growth. We look at multiplier factors very quickly because the formulas are really there. We talk formula based. So we basically want to point this out that you're invited to some workshops that we have coming up. They're all free, of course. They're virtual in this next week. There's one on the 16th and one on the 17th. I have a card, or in this case a sheet, that you can go in with a QR code and go to our website and see all this stuff. The idea is that we really want to look at the idea that we see this as a workshop that explains our basics of what we do, our good fundamentals, and I basically guarantee that if you attend that workshop, take the time out, it'll change your life this year, period. I'm going to guarantee that. And if not, you come back and I'll give you $500. Because the situation, we believe that this information we're exchanging, we're not a religious cult. We're just basically talking about common sense business. And the key is that common sense business is very much forgotten because we get distracted by shiny balls. I mean, new trend. I mean, social media is wonderful, except it's only one of our 10 main platforms we recommend any company do. Because if you don't have balance in your marketing, you're never going to succeed because not everybody does social media. And so it's a situation we talk, what are your other 9 pillars? How do you do this? Where are you going every month? It might be on social networking, it might be a part of it, but other kind of networking are out there. Some people do B&I, some people do presentations in front of groups like this. I mean, there's just different ways of getting your message out there when we talk about balance. So the idea that guarantee is there, please come to that. In addition, I want to make a special offer to the 1 million Cup people that we will offer. If you attend that, we'll give you 90 minutes of free strategy sessions. And again, I say free in the sense of it's complimentary. It's a situation we don't want to politicize this thing. It's just a matter of we sit down with you, look at your situation, and recommend 3 or 4 things that you can change right now. No obligation. You never have to talk to us again. But again, we just want to stress education. So that's kind of what we're all about, I think. Because our whole idea is that we are about education. So my ask is find a coach. I agree with you guys. We're all entrepreneurs in the heart, spiritually. We have more mature businesses. Maybe you've been around 3 or 4 years of cash flow. You know the ups and downs of your cycle. But still find some kind of a coach. And it might be a psychological coach because you're getting balance of thought sometimes. It might be a situation where it's a health coach because you're not getting up every 3 days and going to the gym and doing something like that. It might be somebody like us. There's a couple people locally that are doing just similar to us. There's some great people locally. There's higher companies that do Executive Forum, for example, or EOS, which are bigger corporations. We're in a different space than they are, so we're very friendly with everybody, but we're in a smaller business space. But there's great companies locally. And then be open to change. The fact that if you agree that today's nice, but tomorrow could be better, and we're with the kind of mindset, and then get results. The fact that test and measure in marketing is math. It's 2 themes that we really stress. Test and measure everything. Media campaigns, whatever you lay out, you got to monitor how much tree you brought in. You just don't let it go gray on you. And that's why I say teams are important because you're going to be so busy with other things. You got somebody or 2 people or 3 people helping you out and looking at those important deliverables. You need to know why I just invested this much money. And then the other thing here about marketing is math. It is all math. I mean, I've got a marketing background. I love the math, the creative side of it. That can really go down black hole. And it's situation, we got to look at it from the standpoint of hold it back. Two headlines, which one pulled, which one didn't pull. Even though one was a baby that you loved very much, it terrible results, yank it and never use it again. We just had that same circumstance all the time. So looking at that time is my biggest worry. I mean, I'm at a point where I'm getting in senior years, but I sit there and say, one of the biggest fact is that we have 50 weeks a year, and at that point, 50 weeks a year to do something, let's just say for 10 years, you've got 500. If you look at that and having a good life, if let's say up to 60, and you're starting at 20, you only have 40 years at that amount. So you only have so many limited weeks in your life. Think of that every week as being important to you, and not just a nice milestone that's annually celebrated with a birthday. Look at it from a business standpoint. What am I doing with my life to move forward? And I guess we stress this more than anything else. You got to do it with a happy heart. Don't do it with this is drudgery, because if it's drudgery, get out of it. Find a day job for a while, reset, nothing wrong with that, and then basically go back and do another thing as well. Find that passion, find the B part of you. So that's all I got right now. So, any more questions?